Q&A tonight. I had about 6 calls over the last week from people that were curious about how should they handle certain situations they were facing. These were important circumstances that were going on. They weren't sure what to do. What's very promising, though, is that at least 4 out of the 6 were asking about their spirit. Now, this involves some of the members from our class and people that have been watching the videos. So it's very promising that people are beginning to ask, like, what should I do according to my spirit? Not what should I do? Okay? Now, I thought about this a great deal. I thought about this because I'd like to keep training us to always understand the question is, what does my spirit want from me? That's the only thing that matters. And sometimes people have a hard time with that concept because sometimes it sounds like that's selfish, because I'm asking you to concentrate on just you first. I'm asking you to go to your spirit and then make a choice according to that spirit and then be okay with that choice. And we're being okay with that choice in the brain and heart. The brain and heart may not like that choice. In fact, for 2 of those 7 people or so, at least 2 of them were upset by what their spirit told them to do. And what's going on is their humanness is resisting their progression forward. So the question is, how do you know what your spirit wants for you? How do you get to the point of knowing this so that you can answer your own questions? Please.
I think you have
Peace. Okay.
calmness.
Can be. It can be. It can be. But even peace and calmness, I want to make sure it's trained properly. There are a lot of times I've thought in my past that I was doing the right things and I was at peace and I got the wrong answer. Okay, so that could be an answer. It could be, but I'd like to test it. I'd like to test it. So, okay, so we've got an idea. Any other ideas? How do we know that what we're doing is from our spirit? Pardon me?
You can only test it, right? Is that what you mean?
If you want to test it, if you want to test your idea, how do you know it's coming from spirit? And it's correct according to spirit, is a better way of phrasing it.
Oh, it's
Karen?
really strong.
I'm sorry, it's strong?
Strong.
What's strong?
It has a lot of energy.
Okay. So if I say it's strong, then that should be, if I muscle test, I should get a strong muscle. If it's strong, right?
You need to test actually at the spirit, the location, because it could be your brain and your heart are contributing to lack of strength or not.
Exactly. And my brain person talks, and thank you very much for asking the question. Thank you. Yeah, I'm jumping ahead. I'm jumping ahead. I'm a heart person, okay? So, you're right. When I hold out the arm, I'm making the assumption that we're testing from here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that. It was important. So we're always testing from spirit, whatever the idea is, that it's part of spirit. Whatever the idea is. Okay, so what happens if we're weak? If you get an idea, we're testing our spirit, and now the arm is weak. What happens now? What do?
Try again.
Try again, meaning we
Reword, change it slightly.
change the idea. Just change the idea. Test it again, and see if it's okay. Now, I'm using this method, of course. You could be leaning back and forth. Okay, you can use a pendulum or any type of dowsing equipment that you want. It doesn't matter how you do it. I'm asking you to test and test and test and test until you get so sick of testing, you just know. Because you're so tired of testing. Okay, that's what I did. Okay, just get sick of testing because you're doing it for everything and you just know. Am I making sense? So, whenever you ask me a question, I don't care what it is, and anyone asks me a question from this point, I always say, let's check your spirit. If you're going to make an investment, you're going to buy a car, you're going to create a new friend, or not create a new friend, test your spirit. Okay? Test the idea against spirit. Okay, so are we clear? Okay?
Yeah.
Now, suppose we test the idea against spirit, and spirit is showing that it's a great idea. So we're testing against spirit, and it's strong. Now, our muscle test is strong. Is that enough?
No.
Oh, good. Very good. Why not, Roger?
Well, your heart might be blocking it, or another, your mind.
Excellent. So the heart or the brain could be blocking. In some cases, I've actually found a couple of people where both were blocking. It's very rare, but if the person is physically weak enough, both could be blocking. Okay? At the very least, one or the other, heart or brain, could be blocking. So what do? Suppose you find that the heart's weak. What do?
Test for what will strengthen it.
Okay, all right. And yes, you're exactly correct, Amy, but remember, no matter whether it's heart or brain, there are two elements we always have to examine. The energetic part and the physical part. Okay? We have to evaluate both of those, right? Okay, so energy would mean what? What would energy be?
Excitement, enthusiasm, excitement.
I'm sorry. Okay, let me go back to being more specific. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, specifically, would it be colors, lights, sounds? Could be any of those, right? Could be music. Okay, could be a nice friend. Could be writing a nice letter to someone. It could be anything involving energy. Okay. Again, you can test to see whatever makes the heart strong, whatever that is, right? Okay. Suppose it's brain. What do you do there? Same thing. Same exact thing. Now, physically, what might make the heart strong may not be the same thing for the brain. Well, we always want to check the basics: diet, water, exercise, and sleep. No matter what part of the body we're checking, you want to check those. Always. Okay? And just check. You know, check either one. Diet, for example, and test. Say if it's a heart issue that we're talking about, test diet, see if you're strong. And if you are, then figure out the type of diet that works best. Okay? We can do this. And what I'm saying is, if you do this enough, you get so sick of doing this, especially as a heart person, you'll want to learn how to do this just by knowing. Okay? Okay. So this is important. Am I getting the points across about what to do here? Okay. So whenever you ask me a question, guess what I'm going to start with first? What's your spirit? What's your spirit say? Okay? And if you don't like the answer, what does that mean? What does that mean? You got it. You got it. The humanness is stepping into the way, creating problems. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to play tonight with going through this. And there's another reason why I'm asking you to do this. There's another reason why. Why do you think it's important to always test spirit? Why is it important?
It's the only thing that'll work.
Right? That's true. It's the only thing that's going to work. And if we don't test it, we don't get the answer, we're wasting our time. We're wasting our time. If the brain and heart have not been trained, and you're listening to them, we know we'll waste our time. And thank you. Is there any other reason why you'd want to test spirit? I want to know what spirit has to say.
It's not more powerful than the brain or heart.
True. It's a 4-letter word.
Whoa.
It's constant.
Food, good.
Love.
Time.
Time.
Time. Time. What do you think I mean by time?
It's the right time.
Right time? True. What do you think I mean by time?
Infinite time?
Well, I wish it was.
Not for the body, but for your spirit.
Not wasting time.
True. I'm thinking of my physical body right now.
Spirit transcends time.
Pardon me?
Spirit transcends time.
True, it does. It does. But let's think about this. Suppose you're not sure what spirit wants for you. So you're sending out incoherent signals. You're sending out signals that are not clear. Brain and heart are probably in some type of conflict. You're sending out these signals. You're sending out shark bait. You know what I mean by that?
No.
Yeah, attracting.
You are attracting people, places, and things that want to steal your time. They love to steal your time because they figure that you must have something going on because you're changing beliefs, and they want to figure out what you've done now so they can maybe even extract more from you. And now they're going to come in and they're going to start giving you their ideas, and they'll want you to participate in their life, and you're going to lose time without a good, clear plan that your heart is buying into that comes from spirit. I don't have time to waste. Do you? It's time. So, right now, I believe one of the most important reasons for being clear about what this wants, and then getting heart and brain aligned with that, is to only attract opportunities to us. People, places, and things that are vibrating like we are. So if we decide to help them, we're actually helping ourselves in the process. If we decide to buy something, we're actually helping them and us in the process. We are always creating opportunities for both of us, but that only occurs when they're vibrating like we are. Otherwise, we're at their mercy. And there's a law of the universe. There's a law of the universe, just like gravity. It's called, he who is clear gets. And the clearer you are, the more you get. Okay? It's a law of the universe. And if we're unclear, someone else is going to get at our expense. It's going to happen every time. I would ask you, if people are invading your space, if you're being asked to do things that are inappropriate, I would ask you to really think about this carefully. Have you created a clear plan, according to Spirit? Have you gotten your brain and heart involved in this? Have you taken this seriously so that you're sending out a coherent plan so that if people do come in and ask, whatever they're asking is beneficial to all of you, not just to them? Make sense? We can't lose time. I can't. I know you can't either. Okay? Make sense? Okay? So tonight, I want to optimize time, plus give you a lot of practice. We're always giving you practice. Okay? So, let's see. Who can we use? Sherry, would you mind if I had you come forward? Okay. Thank you. Young lady, would you mind having a seat right there?
The person who hasn't been in class for 3 months.
Oh, it's about
I
time.
can do it.
It's about time, right? Okay. So here's what we're going to do. It's going to be very simple. Very simple. We're going to make sure the legs are uncrossed.
All right.
You'll be facing straight ahead. We're going to start with number 1 on our list. We always start with our muscle test, right? Now, may I test you?
Yes.
Thank you. May I use this arm? Okay, I'm not going to press very hard. So we always get it out straight, so it's not up like this or down like that. And if you need to, all of you may want to sit over here maybe, or look over here just so you see what we're doing. Sure, I'll tell you what, can we maybe move a little bit towards them, just a little bit, rotate the chair just a little bit more. Perfect. Okay, good. I think everyone can still see. Okay, good. All right, so straight out, it's not up like this, down like that. Straight out. Okay, I'm going to tell her that we're going to test. I want you to resist me. Okay, resist me now, resist. Okay, think of your full name, resist. Good, good. Okay, now, keep thinking of your full name, and I'm going to touch right there. Resist me again. Good, perfect. She's weaker. Remember we said this is a normal test. Could I have you drop the arm? Okay, now, I want to make sure you use your next week efficiently. We're just going out a week. All we're going out is 1 week. We're not going out any further than that. So if we go out to the second one, we're going to have them think about something over the next week that's important for you. That is a good use of your time, that's important for you to do, and let's check to see that against Spirit if it's the correct thing for you to focus upon. Okay, so can you think of anything like that?
Yes.
Okay, all right, so just imagine that you're doing it right now over the next week. Okay. Okay. Gonna have the arm out. Okay, think of that, and I'm going to imagine I'm touching Spirit. Resist me now, resist, and it's weak. Okay, now, what is that telling us?
It's not the right thing.
Not the right thing, or it's not big enough.
Very good, very good. Okay, so what should we do?
Or the mind and the heart aren't on board.
Well, that can be, but we won't test that later. Okay, we're going to test just Spirit right now. We're just testing Spirit at this moment. Okay, so whatever she's thinking of doing, it's certainly not in agreement with Spirit. So let's test an idea. So suppose you change that and make it bigger, better.
Okay.
Now watch her energy. Watch the energy going through her body and around her body as she's making the change. Okay. So what do you think? Is it better? Better? Sandra, could you see the change? Yes, good, very good, very good. Shall we? Okay, so let's think about that new idea.
Okay.
Okay, resist me now. Resist. Much better, much better. Now, it's much better, but let's go a little further right now. She deserves the best, right? So let's give her the best. So let's bring it up a notch. Remember, if it's not right, she'll show us. Even a little bit more. Even more. Now we're exceeding her ability to actually believe this right now. Keep going, even further.
Gosh, okay.
Good. Much better. Much better now. Very good. Okay? Shall we? Okay, resist me now. Resist. Yeah, I can't even move the arm now. Much better. Now, does that look better than when we started?
300%. I went up 3 levels, 300%.
Yeah, then she's right. She did. And could you see the change in the energy as she was improving the concepts? Could you sense that? Good. Very good. That worked. Worked very well. Now, what do you think she is? Is she a brain person or a heart person? At the time of birth, was she born a brain person or a heart person?
Hard.
Very good.
Good.
Excellent. Good job. Good. That was not easy. Good job. Heart person. Strong heart person. Okay? So what can we expect when we test brain and heart?
The heart will be weak and the brain will be strong.
In general, that's the tendency. Let's test and make sure. Shall we? Okay, let's go back to that great idea. Okay?
The improved upon idea,
The improved
right?
upon idea.
Okay.
Yes. Why waste time with anything else?
Right, okay.
Okay, so let's go to brain. Okay. Resist me now. Resist. Strong. Almost no give. Let's go to heart. Resist again. There we go. We start getting the motion of the arm. Okay? Just as we thought, her heart's weak. So what do we do? What do we do?
Physical or energetic.
Got it? We need both. Treatments. 6 times a week for 24 years. So let's go with energy. So what do you think would be a good energy for her?
Do these vibrators work
Yes, they would.
for an energetic?
Yes, they would. Very good. In fact, since you've asked that question, brilliant question. Okay, let's go with the meta rub. So it only has a high or a low speed. Okay? Okay, what would be the best speed for her? High or low?
I would vote for high.
Super high.
I was gonna say low.
Yeah, it's high. High speed for her. Yeah, it would be high. Yeah, we can test it, but let's not waste time. So that's a form of energy right there. And she can do it later tonight if you want to. So high would work. How about a color? What's a good color for her?
Red.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Let's test you with red. Okay, so let's go to the heart. Okay, resist me now and think of this great idea that you have. Resist. Yeah, can't budge the arm. Good. Red is great. Okay, what about music? What type of music would work for?
Dance music.
Very good. Excellent. Very good. Since you've done well, what type of dance music?
I cheated because I know she likes
It's okay. Every so often I like to look under the cover too. Okay. So, what would it be, what type of dance music? Ballroom? Classical? High speed?
Yeah, let's see.
High speed. Yeah, high speed. Yeah, everything's high speed with her. Alright, shall we? Okay, so just imagine now you're dancing that way. Resist me again. Think of a great idea. Resist. Oh yeah. You can't budge. Very good. Okay. Anything else energetically we'd like to test? Sky's the limit, but any other ideas that you'd like to test?
Meditation
Meditation. Okay. All right. What form of meditation?
is visualization is what I was thinking. More like, because it gets you excited and you're visualizing something you want to do, or
Okay.
like maybe even what she had envisioned.
Yes. Yes. So we're talking about an active visualization.
Active, okay.
Right. Active active visualization. This is not the person who's gonna lie down.
Oh,
To
well,
visualize, right?
whatever, the 15 minutes
Right.
max is what I do, so
Yeah.
whatever it is. Yeah.
But let's suppose you're dancing on the
With
floor.
music.
And with music,
With
yes,
music as well.
be nice, and you're visualizing these great things. Let's test that,
Okay.
okay? Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Resist me now.
With the red strobe lights.
Very
Disco ball.
Oh, yeah, that's very interesting. That's a great idea. But you know what happens? What happens though is with the disco type, the vacillation of the colors, whenever it goes off, she'll go weak. When the color comes back on, she'll be strong. So if we don't modulate it correctly, we can really encourage issues here. Okay? So, yeah, and you're very, very sensitive that way because you're so dynamic in the way that goes. Anything else that we want to test in terms of energy? Because I'm asking you to think about this for your partners as you're testing yourself. Because we want to protect her week next week. We want to protect your week next week. We want to make sure all of you have a fantastically great week next week that is determined by you tonight. So she would write down her idea in her book about what this idea is about next week. Write it down. She would come down with the colors, sounds, lights, whatever it is. In terms of physical issues, we might check diet, water, exercise, and sleep. So let's go to the fundamentals. Diet, water, exercise, and sleep. Which one do you think she needs more of? Okay, how's that sound? Is that good? Shall we test? Okay, so let's test. So suppose you're getting an extra 2 hours of sleep. Okay, ready? Okay, resist me now. Very strong. Good going. Very strong. Okay, do you see how we're doing this tonight? I'm asking you to check the energetic parts. I'm asking you to check the physical parts. Go with diet, water, exercise, and sleep. Test those. Okay? It's very important. I'm asking you to write down a plan before you leave here tonight as to what you're seeing and at least the beginning stages of how am I going to achieve it. I want to make sure that you get this going tonight so that maybe tomorrow you can fill it in. But so next week, starting tomorrow, you have a great time and it's your time and you're productive. Does that make sense? And you practice. I'm also asking that once you work with your partner, and once you get this done, go off to another group and test them over what they found. If they found that red was a strong color, test that person with red. If they have a certain idea, test their idea. I want you to get as much practice as you can. It is very important you get a lot of practice. Right now. If you're not, yeah.
Yes, some basic questions. So the theory is that you find out what your spirit wants, but whatever's the weak part, you just have to strengthen that, you just have to get the passion up, you just have to strengthen that?
We would work both. We would create a plan, even though she's a heart person. She would need to create a plan.
Oh, okay, that's the brain part.
Right. She would have to write down what she was seeing as terms of what was important, and then some ideas as to how to make it work. Okay, that's the brain part.
Right.
Okay? And then, of course, for her, it's the heart that we would have to innovate, strengthen. Okay? So whether you're a brain person or a heart person, you would follow the same routine for both.
Okay, so if she had been a brain person, we'd be focusing on writing down the plan, on the ideas that encourage the brain to strengthen the thinking,
Okay.
to encourage the thinking.
Well, let me rephrase this then. Whether you're a brain person or a heart person, we will always need to create a plan. And for heart people, we especially need to create a plan and follow it, because we're not good at doing it. Okay? We need to write it down in detail, as much as we can, because I know I'm not good at doing it, okay? Unless I'm forced to. Okay, so whether we're brain or heart, we would always want to do that. And then we always want to check the heart and make sure the heart is functioning the way it needs to, okay? But whether we're dealing with a brain or a heart, we always need to check then the energy part of it and the structure, the energy and the physical part of it. We want to make sure whether it's the brain for a brain person or a heart for a heart person, that the energy part and the physical part are strong in every case. Okay.
It's the same stuff too, energetically, for the brain and the heart, like
Not
light.
necessarily. Not necessarily. They may not be the same thing. They may not be the same thing. They could be drastically different.
How could they be different?
That's really not
Exactly.
helpful.
So it's like if it's colors and lights and music and all for heart, how is it different for brain? What are the other choices?
It depends on the person. It depends on what their spirit wants for them. But in general, from what I've seen, when you're talking to a person's spirit, if they're a brain person versus a heart person, the energy and the physical part could be different. They could be different. For example, brain people generally need a lot of the B vitamins, a great many of the B vitamins. Heart people may need more iron. And brain people may need a lot of herbs to relax them, or to balance out, try to keep their energy flowing in a certain way. Heart people may need a lot more energy to keep their heart going. Much more energizing products in general. Okay? They could be very different.
I think what we're asking though is, are there choices of what you would test through for heart and brain person still? It's the same menu, it's just you're gonna get different answers.
Right,
That's what we're asking.
checking.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
If that's,
Uh-huh.
yeah, that's the answer. Yes, it would be the same. Okay. Okay. Any other questions?
I have a question about homeopathics. That's energetic, isn't it? I
Very
mean, it's a
much.
lot harder to test because there's so many, but,
Right. It's very hard to test unless you have an idea. But what you could do, what you could easily do, is you can take them in groups of 4, 6, 8, and you could have 8 in one group and just test that one group,
Right.
and then narrow it down from there, because you can do that very easily. Okay. In fact, you can take the entire book of homeopathics, which is roughly about so thick, and you could actually go through that pretty fast, if you had to.
yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Is it clear what I'm asking you to do tonight?
I don't understand these statements for the next week. Explain it again. What kind of things are we talking about? I mean,
Okay.
saves us time.
Well, I'm asking you to think about something that's important to you. It could cover any number of areas. Remember? 4 areas.
Right.
Right? 4 areas. It doesn't have to cover all 4, but it should be important to you. So important that you don't want to lose time by having someone interfere with it. That's what I'm asking. I want to make sure that you get into the habit of understanding that your time is very valuable. And I believe we have control over that time. And the more control we have over it, I believe, is based upon the more defined is our idea, and the more clear. And the more enthusiastic we are about it, and the more optimistic we are about it, and the better the plan we have about it, the more we have that time.
In the 4 areas.
Health, wealth, business, relationships. You decide what they are. But just think about someone coming into your life starting tomorrow, eating up your time. Yes?
Gary, some time ago, somebody said something to me I've never forgotten. I think you all know who H. Ross Perot is, the Dallas multimillionaire, billionaire guy. And a friend of mine said, "Roger, what do you and Ross Perot have in common?" I said, "Duh, I can't think of anything Ross Perot and I have in common." They said, "Wrong. A 24-hour day. What are you doing with yours?"
Right. Very good.
Thank you.
That's it. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay. Let's do it. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.